after Pac got killed, Puffy gave Zip $1 million that was supposed to be handed over, and Zip ended up keeping it.
In a surprising twist, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, the man allegedly connected to the murder of the legendary rapper Tupac Shakur, has been granted bail, despite initial objections from prosecutors, and now many believe he may use this time to go after Diddy.
Shot up the house. Then once I hit the corner, his brother was there. And I jumped out. I put the car in park. I jumped out and put the gun on him. And he's like...
This decision was reached during a hearing in Vegas, where Davis's legal team successfully argued that he doesn't pose a danger to society and isn't a flight risk, as reported by TMZ.
I went to the hospital and the police, I had left the shells from the what's game in the car.
Oh.
However, the granting of bail comes with a hefty price tag, a staggering $750,000. Davis will be temporarily free under house arrest with electronic monitoring until his trial.
I'm a man, I'm gonna stand tall through it all, dog. Whatever the lawyer got to offer me, I'm gonna come through it, you know what I'm saying? I'm standing tall through it all, dog.
This development has raised eyebrows given the serious charges against him. Davis, who openly admitted multiple times to being involved in Tupac's murder, was only arrested in September 2023, a shocking 27 years after the tragic incident in 1996. Despite his confessions, he maintained that he wasn't the triggerman, but admitted to being in the car on the fateful night of Tupac's shooting.
Well, in the book, you said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat.
Prosecutors initially opposed the bail request, calling it absurd and citing various reasons for denial, emphasizing the potential danger Davis poses to the public. They argue that the delayed arrest doesn't diminish the severity of the allegations.
Now, it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect.
In response, Davis's legal team countered these arguments, asserting that he is not a danger to society, especially considering the extended period it took for law enforcement to apprehend him. They also reiterated his plea of not guilty, suggesting that his past confessions were merely for attention and financial gain. Last year, an arrest was finally made in connection to Tupac's murder, and Keefe D. was put behind bars. The alleged gang member is accused of being the shot caller in the infamous 1996 Vegas drive-by. The man long believed to have pulled the trigger, his nephew Orlando Anderson, was never charged in connection to the crime and later died in 1998. In a recent interview with former Compton PD gang unit member Robert Ladd, he recalled the days after the shooting. According to him, informants quickly provided authorities with Keefe D. and Anderson's names. Allegedly, Anderson even returned to Compton after the shooting to boast about the crime. Ladd explains that there was a lack of communication between the Compton PD and the Las Vegas PD in the days following the shooting, leading to a missed opportunity to track the white Cadillac allegedly involved in the crime. Keefe D's murder case related to Tupac Shakur has brought numerous suspects into focus, particularly from the defense's perspective. In an interesting twist on January 11th, his lawyers presented a tape where he claims that Diddy offered him $1 million to kill the West Coast legend, as reported by the U.S. Sun. However, the clip apparently doesn't feature Diddy at all. Instead, Keefe, real name Dwayne Davis, can be heard laughing about his supposed involvement with Vegas police. Allegedly, Sean Combs wanted Tupac and Suge Knight dealt with due to escalating tensions between the East Coast and West Coast. Adding to the mix are other accusations implicating Diddy in the entire ordeal. LAPD Detective Greg Kading did so back in 2011, also suggesting that Suge orchestrated the hit on Biggie Smalls. Recalling that time to Hip Hop DX, Kading explained, "We got Keefe D's back up against the wall," describing how they pieced the story together. While it's purely speculative, it underscores how rumors like these have long dominated hip-hop conversations and gossip mills. Kading continued, He explained to us that him and his nephew, Orlando Anderson, and the rest of that little Crip entourage committed the murder of Tupac out in Las Vegas. Kading shared insights into Keefe D and Diddy's alleged involvement. Then he explains that the conspiracy to commit the murder of Tupac had developed in Los Angeles during his conversations with Puffy Combs. We realize now that we had some legitimate ownership of Tupac's case too. Even though the murder took place in Las Vegas, and technically it was their investigation, since the conspiracy to murder happened in our jurisdiction, it gave us a legitimate cause to investigate it. Since now we had the star witness, Keefe D, and now we needed to protect him in order to further the investigation to take it up to where it's tied to the other conspirators, we needed to really protect that aspect of the case, he went on. Because if it got out, hey, Keefe D's cooperating, or anything like that, well, you can imagine that would have interfered with the ongoing investigation. The recording, dating back to a 2008 LAPD interview, has surfaced as Las Vegas prosecutors introduce it as a crucial piece of evidence in the ongoing murder trial. In this intriguing tape, 60-year-old Keefe appears to share laughs and jokes with the police, discussing Diddy's alleged involvement in orchestrating Tupac's killing in September 1996 in Las Vegas. In a rather disturbing twist, Keefe, without concrete evidence, claims on the tape that he oversaw the fatal shooting of the ghetto gospel star at Diddy's request in the mid-1990s. According to Keefe, Diddy, then 54, expressed a desire to eliminate rival record label boss Suge Knight and his top-performing artist Tupac amid the escalating East-West Coast rap wars. Charged with Pac's murder in September, Keefe suggests on the tape that Diddy declared, "Man, I want to get rid of those dudes," allegedly offering $1 million reward. Notably, Diddy has consistently dismissed claims of involvement in the Tupac and Suge shooting as nonsense. Prosecutors submitted the audio file to underscore Keefe's apparent confessions regarding his role in the murder. However, it's essential to note that in many sections, he makes unverified allegations about Diddy, then known as Puffy. On the tape, Keefe openly brags about developing a close relationship with Diddy, the owner of Bad Boy Records and a global music superstar, through mutual friend and gangster Eric Zip Martin. He recounts to LAPD officer Greg Kading how Puffy expressed his disdain for Knight to Crip gang members, who were providing security after a concert in Anaheim, California. Keefe recalls, "Shh, T, he said he would give us anything for those dudes' heads, you know?" Diddy and Knight, once close allies, found themselves at odds when the West Coast mogul took a swipe at Bad Boy Records during a fiery speech at the 1995 Source Awards in NYC. Suge threw shade, declaring, "Any artist out there want to be artist and want to stay a star and don't have to worry about the executive producer being all in the videos, all on the records, dancing, come to death row." According to Keefe, that televised moment was the spark that ignited the war, with the music giants behaving like little kids. Puffy's alleged involvement in a murder-for-hire scheme comes into play, as mentioned in the tape, with discussions reportedly occurring in Anaheim and a couple of times in Greenblatt's, a famous Jewish deli in West Hollywood. In the recording, Keefe, prompted by Kading, spills the beans on the events at the downstairs section of Greenblatt's deli. According to Keefe, Puffy expressed a desire to get rid of those dudes, revealing that Puffy was scared, especially of Knight. Keefe emphasizes that the order to assassinate was given privately. It was just me and him. "We wanted $1 million, Keefe disclosed in the recording, confidently stating, "We will wipe their A out quick, you know. It is nothing." He reiterated on the tape that Diddy had multiple conversations with him, urging to kill both of them. The tragic night of September 7th, 1996, saw Tupac shot as he drove to a club with Knight, eventually succumbing to his injuries in the hospital a few days later. In the aftermath of the shooting, Keefe made a hasty exit from Sin City and rendezvoused with Zip at a hot wings restaurant in West Hollywood, anticipating compensation, as revealed in the intriguing tape. According to Keefe's claims on the recording, Diddy made a pivotal call to Zip asking, "Was that us?" When Keefe confirmed, stating, "Yes," he alleges that Diddy was visibly pleased with the outcome. Here's where it gets even more intriguing. Keefe asserts that he never received payment for the shooting. Apparently, Zip mentioned that Puffy hasn't paid him yet, even though rumors circulated that Zip might have discreetly pocketed the cash. Keefe, who ended up in prison, couldn't pursue his alleged claim against Diddy, and Zip passed away in 2012, 4 years after the police interview. Throughout the recorded interview, Keefe appears unapologetic about his confessions regarding orchestrating the murder of the rap icon, often finding amusement in his gangster lifestyle. Last week, the U.S. Sun uncovered the legal complexities surrounding the admission of the tape as evidence. Keefe, believing his confession tape was immune from use against him, had collaborated with the LAPD in December 2008. However, this immunity deal, known as a proffer, crumbled if Keefe spoke publicly about these matters or was found to have lied to the police. During a recent bail hearing, prosecutors argued that Keefe's defense, suggesting he lied for fame and fortune, rendered the full interview admissible evidence. Despite legal intricacies, prosecutors decided to include the entire tape, detailing the Diddy allegations rather than cherry-picking key moments. As we look ahead, the full recording is expected to be played for jurors during the trial, currently scheduled for June. Keefe maintains his innocence in Tupac's murder, a charge carrying a potential life sentence. This tape being submitted as evidence adds another layer to the controversies surrounding hip-hop mogul Diddy, who faces accusations of sexual abuse and assault in lawsuits filed by several women, including his ex, Cassie. Now let's step into the world of It Is What It Is, a sports talk show hosted by none other than Harlem rappers Cameron and Mace. Now this show is usually a lively and raucous affair, but one late September day took a serious turn when a long-standing question finally made its way into the conversation between the two longtime friends. Picture this. Cameron turns toward Mace and drops a bombshell. "When you had your record deal, why did you take me to Biggie Smalls and not Bad Boy?" Now let's rewind a bit for context. Back in the mid-1990s, Mace was making waves as an artist on Bad Boy Records, the label founded by the hip-hop maestro Sean Puffy Combs. This label skyrocketed to fame with platinum sensation Christopher Wallace, globally known as the Notorious Big, or Biggie Smalls. At the time, Mace's buddy Cameron, though yet to drop a studio album, was creating buzz as an underground artist poised for stardom. Surprisingly, all these years later, this seemingly pivotal question had never come up between the two friends. The room fell silent, and then Mace attempted to navigate the uncharted waters. "Man, it's almost going to bring me to tears to say this. Being that I saw you as such a good friend, I wanted to put you with somebody I knew would..." Cameron interjected with a laugh. "Don't have me on here crying and shit." Mace pressed on. "I knew Biggie would do right by you." This emotional revelation was significant not just for what was said, but for what had been left unsaid over the years. The unspoken understanding that Combs wasn't exactly the most artist-friendly figure and was best avoided. Fast forward to last week, where Combs found himself in the spotlight for a very different reason. A federal lawsuit was filed against him by the former R&B singer Cassie, accusing him of rape, abuse, and harassment spanning over a decade. In a 35-page filing that came with an unusual trigger warning, Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, claimed that Combs signed her to a 10-album deal when she was just 19, back in February 2006. The lawsuit alleges that over the next year, Combs tightened his grip on both her professional and personal life, ultimately leading to a disturbing encounter during a trip to Miami in 2007. Combs swiftly responded with a clear denial, delivered through his attorney, who stated that Ventura had been persistently demanding $30 million over the past 6 months. The attorney emphasized that this demand was an attempt to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation. The plot thickened when, just a day later, Combs and Ventura jointly announced that they had come to a settlement. In a released statement, Combs expressed, "We have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Love." Interestingly, neither side divulged any details about the terms of the settlement, leaving the amount exchanged and other specifics shrouded in mystery. While Combs may have seemingly put a swift end to a potentially embarrassing legal ordeal, the impact of Ventura's accusations might not fade from the public consciousness anytime soon. The lawsuit triggered a resurgence of information regarding alleged misdeeds by Combs on various gossip sites and social media platforms. From accusations by the baby fat clothing line founder claiming Combs threatened to hit her during pregnancy, with Combs reportedly apologizing for this incident, to a former chef suing him for sexual harassment and unpaid overtime hours, a case privately settled in 2019. The aftermath of this legal episode seems far from over. As Dream Hampton, an executive producer of the Lifetime Network docuseries, Surviving R. Kelly and an iconic figure in hip-hop magazine writing, bluntly stated on X, formerly Twitter, "He's a fool if he thinks this is behind him. It is only the beginning." So why did Ventura's lawsuit against Combs feel like a floodgate moment? Well, it appears to be the resonance with a slew of previously aired allegations and complaints against the 54-year-old mogul during his nearly 35 years in the public eye. One particular aspect of the lawsuit caught my eye, especially considering my past reporting on the intense rivalry between Combs and Marion "Suge" Knight, the founder of the competing Death Row Records. Knight, a 6'2" former NFL defensive lineman with ties to the Blood Street Gang, often took the heat for the ongoing tension between them. He eventually landed in prison for his role in a fight that Nevada prosecutors believed led to the fatal shooting of rap superstar Tupac Shakur. Before that, Knight seemed to revel in publicly challenging Combs, almost daring him to escalate their conflict. However, I've always felt that the narrative of the Combs versus Knight feud unfairly portrayed Combs as an unwilling victim to the music business's biggest bully. The deadly rivalry wasn't as one-sided as it appeared. And as Ventura's recent lawsuit underscores, Combs had a dark side involving violence and bullying that coexisted with his stardom. Ventura's lawsuit, brought under a New York statute allowing victims of sexual abuse to file suit after the statute of limitations has expired, made several extraordinary claims. According to her, Combs coerced her into explicit activities over the years, including engaging with male prostitutes while he watched, photographed, and filmed, a ritual he called freak-offs. She also claimed that Combs insisted she refer to him as Pop Pop, after learning she used that nickname for her grandfather. Additionally, the lawsuit alleged that Combs threatened to blow up the car of one of Ventura's former partners, rapper Kid Cudi, and shortly after, the car indeed exploded in Cudi's driveway in 2012, as confirmed by Cudi's attorney to the New York Times. Combs denied all allegations before settling the suit through his lawyer. The revelations from this lawsuit have certainly opened a new chapter in the ongoing scrutiny of Combs's actions. Reading through all of this is quite unsettling. One claim, in particular, grabbed my attention. Ventura alleges that she and Combs were doing drugs at his Los Angeles home when a member of the security staff burst in with news that Knight had been spotted at a nearby restaurant. According to the lawsuit, Combs hastily got dressed, grabbed several guns from his house, and headed toward Mel's, seemingly intent on confronting Knight. Now, why did this specific detail intrigue us? Let's take a trip back to last year's arrest of Dwayne Keith Davis, known as Keefe D, on a murder charge related to Tupac Shakur's death. Davis is believed to be the lone survivor among 4 Southside Crips who allegedly killed Shakur in a drive-by shooting just off the Vegas Strip in September 1996. Shakur, a Death Row label artist, was a rival of both Combs and Wallace. Davis had complicated the murder case for years by asserting that Combs offered him $1 million for the deaths of Shakur and Knight. According to Davis, he had known Combs for several years, having initially met him through a New York drug-dealing associate named Eric Von Zip Martin. Davis claimed that Combs initially asked him and the Crips to provide security for bad boy artists in the mid-1990s. "I used to ride in the van with the nigga. Crips were backstage deep at most of those West Coast shows," Davis wrote in his memoir, Compton Street Legend. Despite Davis's claims, Combs has consistently denied hiring gang members for security. About a year into the security gig, Davis said Combs approached him with a more ominous request. "I have a couple of problems I need to be handled. Big CEO and pack," Davis recalled Combs saying in his memoir. According to Davis, he allegedly told Combs, "That's not a problem. We can make that happen." This agreement, as Davis later revealed to LAPD Detective Greg Kading, wasn't formalized with a contract or even a handshake. It was more of a gentleman's understanding, as described by Kading in his book, Murder Rap. Davis even confessed to Kading in 2009 as part of an investigation into the Shakur and Wallace murders, but he wasn't officially arrested until much, much later. Skepticism about Dwayne Keith Davis, Keefe D, claims regarding P. Diddy's alleged bounty on death row stars. Kading, having delved into this issue for a while, remains uncertain about the context of Davis's conversation with Combs. He mentioned we could never substantiate the context of the conversation, despite Davis testifying to the verbal exchange. Kading points out the potential for nuanced interpretations, leaving room for doubt. In Davis's version, there's a careful dance around explicit requests to harm anyone, providing both of them with plausible deniability. In Davis's memoir, he recollects a meeting with Eric Von Zip Martin, the New York associate he shared with Combs, just 3 days after the Vegas shooting that claimed Tupac Shakur's life. During their meal, Martin took a call from Combs, who asked if they were involved. Davis confirmed, and according to Kading's book, Combs was happy as hell with that response. Post-shooting, Davis attempted to reach out to Martin about the promised $1 million reward for weeks, but the collection never materialized. His pursuit of the money came to an abrupt halt when he got entangled in an unrelated drug case, leading to over 5 years in federal prison. Davis revealed in his memoir that he never had contact with Combs or Martin again, expressing regret. Meeting Puffy has been like a bad dream, from which I'm still trying to wake up. I hate that I ever met that son of a bitch. My life has gone backward ever since. Now 60, Davis entered a not guilty plea for the murder of Tupac Shakur on November 2nd in Las Vegas. If convicted, he faces the prospect of spending the rest of his life behind bars. Prosecutors claim Davis implicated himself in the killing during various interviews in recent years and in his memoir. So let's catch up on what's happening with Dwayne Keith Davis, aka Keefe D. Now what about P. Diddy, especially considering the allegations Davis made regarding his role in Tupac Shakur's murder? Greg Kading, shedding light on the matter, revealed that the LAPD interviewed Combs about his supposed involvement in Shakur's killing over a decade ago. However, the outcome was, well, not much. Under highly controlled circumstances, Kading points out that P. Diddy, insulated by his legal team, didn't yield much information during the interview. Kading reflects on the ideal notion that justice should be blind and unaffected by financial influence, but he acknowledges the challenging reality of the situation. As of now, Nevada prosecutors haven't hinted at involving Combs in the new murder case against Davis. Kading, expressing doubt, doesn't anticipate Combs facing charges or being implicated. Yet, even if legal proceedings don't materialize for Combs, there's a lingering anticipation among many for him to confront some long overdue reckoning. Mark Curry, a former bad boy rapper, is one of those individuals who has been outspoken against Combs for years. Curry, in his tell-all book Dancing with the Devil, How Puff Burned the Bad Boys of Hip-Hop, which he published in 2009, provides a candid look at the people and careers that, according to him, Combs trampled on during his ascent to fame and fortune. Curry, who started working with Combs and Bad Boy in 1997, shared how Combs, in his ruthless business approach, pressured him into signing a contract that would require him to give up half of his publishing rights. Curry highlights the challenges artists faced under Combs's management and suggests that Combs, despite his wealth, lacked musical talent and relied heavily on advisors and lawyers to navigate the industry. Mark Curry swiftly realized he was caught up in the same exploitative business web that ensnared many other bad boy artists, including the notorious Biggie Smalls. In his own words, Curry described feeling akin to Biggie when he signed with Bad Boy, emphasizing how, after Biggie inked Puff's contracts, he walked away with a mere $25,000. To veil Biggie's financial struggles, Puff declared that he was generously giving the fallen star's family several $1 million. As Curry delved deeper into the dynamics, he observed a recurring pattern. Combs artists, despite signing deals and achieving record sales, often grappled with challenges. Some resorted to a life of crime, ultimately meeting tragic ends. Curry pointed to his old friend, the late rapper Black Rob, who achieved platinum success with a 2000 album on Bad Boy, but later faced imprisonment for grand larceny in connection with a 2004 hotel robbery. Struggling with homelessness, Black Rob succumbed to cardiac arrest in April 2021 at the age of 52. In a poignant reflection on Combs, Curry questioned the impact of Puff's actions, saying, "You're not freeing people. They still have to resort to criminal activities, and they know you've got money, and that we mean nothing to you." Puff, how do you feel knowing that? Once regarded as one of the label's brightest stars, Curry featured on 6 songs on Combs' third album. The saga continues, including the hit Bad Boy for Life. However, Combs never released Curry's solo album, leading to growing frustration and his decision to request an exit from the deal in 2005. Over the years, Curry has taken his critique of Combs to platforms like YouTube and social media, considering himself a vocal crusader. Describing Combs as the master of evasion, Curry highlighted Puff's astuteness in deflecting questions and leaving individuals with an illusion of answers. According to Curry, interacting with Combs felt like leaving an office thinking one more cheesecake sale would solve everything. Combs has mastered the art of sidestepping intense scrutiny, employing a dual strategy of using his considerable wealth to make problems disappear and charming the media and fans with his benevolent charm and talent for reinvention. Since stepping into the celebrity spotlight in the 1990s, he's undergone a name evolution, from Puff Daddy to P. Diddy to Diddy to Love, then Brother Love. Not stopping there, he even took the unconventional step of legally changing his middle name from John to Love. In a high-profile Vanity Fair profile in September 2021, penned by Tressie McMillan Cottom, Combs made an entrance by warmly embracing the interviewer and her assistant with bear hugs. Notably, Combs capitalized on projecting an image of harmlessness, almost soft-hearted, during the interview. He even initiated a discussion about the #Me Too movement, expressing inspiration and the potential for significant change. However, amidst this congenial demeanor, Combs subtly hinted at his ongoing image management tactics, affirming, "I always was a hustler. Always." This reveals a knack for presenting different facets of himself to the public, while maintaining an underlying consistency. The cases involving Combs have captured widespread attention, fueled in part by his influential role as an executive and gatekeeper in the music and fashion industries. Despite long-standing allegations and previous arrests, these are among the first major accusations in years against a prominent figure in the music business. Many believe the industry has overlooked abuses of power, even during the peak of the Me Too movement. Combs is just one of several influential men whose alleged past conduct is now facing fresh and more critical scrutiny, thanks in part to landmark New York laws. The comparisons drawn between Combs and R. Kelly are gaining traction, with vocal critic 50 Cent announcing plans to produce a documentary series about Combs in the style of the impactful surviving R. Kelly series. Proceeds from the series are pledged to support assault survivors. The increasing number of reports, coupled with disturbing details, has prompted companies and influential figures in media and business to distance themselves from the rapper. Diageo, the beverage brand in partnership with Combs on vodka and tequila, removed his image from its website. Capital Preparatory Schools, a New York charter school network associated with Combs, publicly announced severing ties with him, though the statement was later removed. Additionally, Combs stepped down as the chair of Revolt, a TV network he co-founded in 2013. These cases against Combs emerge amidst a backdrop of other accusations targeting major figures in the music industry. In November, a woman filed a lawsuit against Neil Portnow, the former head of the Grammy Awards, alleging he drugged and raped her in 2018. The same month, a former employee sued music executive L.A. Babyface Reed, accusing him of sexual assault and harassment, causing irreparable harm to her music industry career. These revelations unfold at a time when, a music and fashion mogul comparable to Diddy faces significant brand partnership losses following public statements deemed anti-Semitic and racist, coupled with allegations of a prolonged pattern of verbal abuse and harassment. While the Me Too movement prompted reckonings in various industries, many felt that major players in the music business remained relatively unscathed. For instance, R. Kelly faced minimal consequences until the 2019 docuseries Surviving R. Kelly brought renewed attention to the accusations against him. Russell Simmons, co-founder of Def Jam Recordings, was publicly accused of rape in 2017, but like Kelly, has not faced charges despite being the subject of a documentary. Now, Ventura and other women coming forward allege violent rape, intimidation, and abuse by one of the music industry's most significant figures, someone who embodied hip-hop's movement into mainstream and high-end culture. Combs, once an icon of power and influence in music, fashion, and business, now faces legal action that signals a new willingness to hold such influential figures accountable. That's all for the video, folks. Thanks for watching.